Yo, what's good, y'all? Silas coming here, and I'm back on another video. I have not seen y'all in a minute, and if you may or may not know, it's because I've achieved financial freedom and I've been able to retire at the age of 25. So yes, I've been kind of busy over the last few months, but people keep asking me, how was I able to do that? I get this question every single day. How? By the way, I'm putting this information out there all the time. So the fact that I still get asked how is kind of nuts to me, because we talk about it every single week on the podcast. We bring guests every single week, every other week on the podcast, and we're telling people, we're showing people how to actually achieve financial freedom. But I understand people want a concise version, so that's what I'm gonna do here in this video. I'm going to tell y'all how I was actually able to do it. I'm gonna give you a detailed step-by-step process so that you can do the same as well. Let's get into it.
I guess I got my swagger back.
So if y'all been rocking with me for a couple years now, since we started the podcast, I've been putting out content, then you know that I started on this journey in January of 2018 and set the goal to achieve financial freedom, meaning replace my earned income from my 9-to-5 job with passive income from a business. Right? And so my original goal was to achieve that by age 28, which would have been in 2024. Well, I was able to do that in 3 years at age 25. And honestly, I figured it out. I figured out the formula for anyone to be able to do the same exact thing. So in this video, I'm gonna break it down step by step how I was able to do that, and also how you can do it as well. So there's really honestly 3 steps to achieving financial freedom and ultimately building long-term generational wealth, right? It's 3 steps. Now, I don't mean to sit here and make some, 1, 2, 3 step process to get rich quick. We know that's BS. That actually isn't. Anyone that's trying to tell you a quick step process to get rich or to achieve a desired result is trying to steal your dollars. It doesn't work like that. I always say that it's simple, but it's not easy. But before I do get to the first step, I do want to mention that if you do have a decent paying job, meaning like, $40,000 a year or higher, then that will significantly help you actually achieve financial freedom, probably maybe a few years sooner. Not to say you can't do it if you don't have a high paying job, but it will definitely help, and I'll explain why here in a second. So step 1 to actually achieving financial freedom and building wealth is to get your cost of living down. Like, seriously. The reason it's so important to have your cost of living and your monthly expenses as low as possible is because financial freedom by definition means that your passive income is greater than your monthly expenses, right? Or your living expenses, right? So think about this. The more expenses I have, the more passive income I'm gonna have to make to actually achieve financial freedom, right? I mean, let's think about it. Let's say that I only had $700 in monthly expenses. That means then, as soon as I make $701, I am now financially free, right? But if I have $5,000 in monthly expenses, that means I need to make $5,001 passively to actually achieve financial freedom. So you can see the lower we can have that cost of living, the sooner you'll actually get financial freedom. And when I say that, I'm not saying to cut down on your Netflix. I'm not saying to stop buying a Starbucks coffee. I'm not saying to, stop eating out, even though all those things can help. Those are just little tiny dents. We need to be making huge punches into this cost of living, right? And honestly, we need to be attacking the elephant in the room, right? Which is your housing expense. That is your number 1 expense, and we need to figure out how to, number 1, eliminate or decrease that as much as possible. So for me, whenever I started on this journey, the first thing that I did was house hack. Now, if you're not familiar with the term house hacking is essentially when you buy a multi-family property, right? A duplex or a single family house with multiple bedrooms, or a triplex or any sort of multi-unit property, and you live in one unit, or you occupy one bedroom and you rent out the other bedrooms or units, right? That way the rent from the tenants that you live with covers your mortgage, and that essentially allows you to live for free or very cheap. That is how I got into real estate investing, and that was the foundation of me actually achieving financial freedom. Now, if you aren't in a position to be able to buy a property with even a 3.5% down loan, which by the way, that's all it takes. It only takes 3 to 5% to actually be able to afford your first property. So it can be pretty cheap depending on the market you're in. But if that's not an option for you, then I highly suggest that if you do have the opportunity to live at home or live with your parents, then you take advantage of that and you live with them until you actually do achieve financial freedom, right? So for me, my cost of living was very low because I house hacked, and I haven't paid rent at this point now in over 3 years. I have not paid rent. So a lot of people see that I hit financial freedom, but they don't understand that I've been living frugally for the last 3 years in order to actually do this. Now, step 2 to actually achieve financial freedom is to start a business that you can scale. Right? Now, I know when a lot of people hear this, they're like, well, what the heck? What kind of advice is that? How do I know what business I'm supposed to start? I don't know anything about business. Yes, it's okay. This is why I'm saying start it so that we can learn, right? And so if you're sitting here and saying you don't know what business you should start, well, welcome to 2021, where we live in the information age. Information is out there. There's so many different businesses that you can get into that are being taught by real teachers. There's so many courses out there. There's so much free information out there that people are putting out that are teaching you how to make money the same way they did. So if you don't know which one you want to start, try all of them. Try whichever one you think you might be interested in. This is what step 2 is all about. Step 2 is all about being okay with failure, being okay with losing money, being okay with taking risks. This is why I said if you have a decent paying job and you have very low expenses, you're going to thrive in this step, right? Now I'm able to take my money from my 9-to-5 job, invest that money into a course or to a program, and now I can start that business and see if it works for me, right? And if that one doesn't, cool, I'll try the next one. And this is when you have to be really aware of what situation you're in, right? So for me, let's keep it 100. When I started this, this step 2, which was really in 2019, after we started a podcast, I had a very high risk tolerance, right? At that time, I was 23 years old, no kids, no wife, thank God, and a good paying job. I had a very high tolerance for risk and failure. I could have lost $100,000 and been totally fine, right? I could lose so much, I can fail at so many different things and be totally okay. Because at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about housing, and there's no one who's, if I lose money, there's nobody that's not gonna eat because of that. It's okay if I don't eat. I'm fine with that. If you're not fine with that, then you need to understand what your risk tolerance is, right? And this is when, trying as many different things comes to play. Because for me, I tried so many different businesses: trucking, vending machines, mobile homes, stock options, Amazon FBA, marketing company, rental cars, cleaning business, rental properties, flipping houses. All these things I tried. I invested thousands of dollars that I made at my job into the courses and information in all these different businesses, because that's how serious I was about figuring out and trying everything. You don't know which is gonna hit until you actually try. I told people I went to Entrepreneurship University. And the thing is about Entrepreneurship University, EU, is that you're learning from real teachers. You're not learning from fake teachers that have never actually done what they're teaching. You're not learning entrepreneurship from a business professor that's never been an entrepreneur, right? You're not learning all these different things from people that have never actually done it. You're learning directly from people that were at one point in a position just like you. They tried, failed, and accumulated all that information to create a course or a product in which you don't have to go through the same failures. So when you're paying for their information, you're paying for those failures up front that you don't have to go through. And I promise you, that cost of the course is going to be a lot cheaper than the cost of making those same failures that they probably made. So don't look at investing in information or courses as a bad thing. Look at it as you're investing in yourself. That is the best investment you can make. An investment into yourself is like an investment like none other. There's no real estate, there's no stocks, there's no crypto that you can make that will get a better investment than an investment in yourself. And look, if you're not in the same position or you don't have the same risk tolerance as me, that's totally fine. Try one thing at a time. If you don't like it, try it 90 days. If you don't like it, move on to the next one. If you have a higher risk tolerance, you can try multiple things at a time. But be careful about that, because you can only do so many things, especially while you're working your 9-to-5 job. You can only do so many things and put the right amount of focus into. So I have to be very careful with what I'm saying, because a lot of people will misinterpret this as saying, go have 15 different businesses at once. That's stupid. Don't do that. You're gonna have 15 jobs, right? People talk about multiple streams of income, but in the beginning, that's just multiple streams of work. That's why the point of this is not to just have multiple businesses. The point of this is to pick one that you like so that you can, once you figure out that you like it, you can now eliminate everything else and focus 100% on this business so that now you can scale it. Once you find a business that you like and a business that you think is scalable and a business you think you can see yourself doing and a business you think can give you financial freedom, then it's time to develop systems and standard operating procedures to make this a business and not just a hobby. The problem is that most people, when they get into business, they want to treat their business as if it's a job instead of a business. They come to business with an employee mindset as opposed to an entrepreneurship mindset, right? Or a technician as opposed to a CEO, right? It's a difference between the technician and the entrepreneur. The technician always thinks they have to do everything in their business. They don't want to delegate anything. They think everything should be done by themselves. And in the beginning, you do that, but you should be doing that for a very short amount of time, because at some point, now you should create systems. When I say systems, I mean you document every single thing that you do in your business so that anyone else can do it. So that now you can hire somebody to come do the same exact thing. Essentially, you duplicate yourself, right? The reason this is important is because that's the only way you can scale a business, number one. And number two, this is for financial freedom. We're not trying to buy you another job. You're trying to buy yourself freedom so that you can earn the ability to be able to wake up whenever you want, go whenever you want, work from wherever you want, do whatever you want at any time you want. That's what financial freedom is. It's not another job. A lot of entrepreneurs are just hustlepreneurs. They're not actually entrepreneurs, right? An entrepreneur has a business. They have systems. They leverage other people's time. They leverage other people's money. They leverage other people, right? That's what you got to understand when you're getting into business, even early on from day one. You need to make sure you're leveraging other people, and you do that by creating systems that those people can follow. Now, once you've created systems and you've been working in this business while you're also working your job, you can now scale that business to a point where your business is paying you more, not generating more, but what you pay yourself is now greater than what you were earning at your 9-to-5 job. Once you do that, you've now hit level 1 financial freedom. There's levels to financial freedom, as we know, right? I hit level 1 financial freedom this year, right? Level 1 just means that now I was able to replace my 9-to-5 job income and also cover my monthly living expenses. That's level 1 financial freedom. Level 2 financial freedom is now when I can have a dream lifestyle, right? I'm able to travel. I'm able to buy the things I want. I'm able to live the way I want. I'm able to drive the car I want, right? Dream lifestyle is level 2. Right? And then level 3 is just being able to pretty much buy anything money can buy. So we're talking, multi-millionaire, billionaire status, right? That's level 3. Level 1 first, then we work on level 2. Level 1 is the simplest part to get to, because I promise you, once you get systems in place, you scale the business, you will hit level 1 financial freedom sooner than you actually think. Now, once you've actually hit level 1 financial freedom and you no longer need your job, then you can quit your job. You're essentially retired. And now you have freed up all your time. Now, what do you do with this time? That's totally up to you, right? If you want to travel the world and you want to work from anywhere, cool, you've earned that. That's what level 1 financial freedom is. You don't have to trade in your time for money anymore. Now, if you are like me and you want to get to level 2 financial freedom, then this is when now I'm using my freed up time to focus 100% on that business and continue to scale it even more and more and more and more and more, to the point where I can now one day get to my dream lifestyle, and understand that these things happen exponentially. The amount of time it took you to get to level 1, level 2 is going to come a lot quicker, because now your focus, 100% focus, is on one business. I promise you, focus is the difference between you working in your job for 10 more years versus achieving early financial freedom and being able to live the dream lifestyle that you want. You must focus. You must focus on one business. Don't have 5 different businesses trying to operate at once. You have 5 different jobs. Now, once you get to level 2, that's whenever you can splurge and start buying those stupid things that we don't need but we enjoy, which I am 100% an advocate of. My whole thing is make sure that the stupid things are being bought with passive income, not active income, right? You don't buy the stupid things before you get financial freedom. You don't buy the stupid things with earned income. You don't buy the stupid things with money that you get from your job. You buy the stupid things once you've scaled your business to a point where your business can pay for the stupid things and you don't have to trade in your time, because your time is not worth the stupid things. Now, step 2 was all about actually achieving financial freedom, getting to level 1, and then ultimately level 2, and ultimately level 3. But here's the thing. Now that you're making all that money, even at level 2, it's important not to just go buy stupid stuff with all that money. We need to be creating wealth now with that money, right? And that's where step 3 comes in. Step 3 is now to take the money from the business that we have now scaled to get us to level 1 and level 2 financial freedom. We take the profits from that business and we buy assets, right? We buy things that are going to put money back into our pocket, right? We buy more income, right? So for me personally, I prefer real estate, I prefer cryptocurrency, and I prefer life insurance. Those are my assets of choice. Make sure you're buying assets, because this is where you need to. Now you're making all that money in a business. We don't not want to have cash. We want to make sure that money is preserving its value, because we know that cash is trash. We need to make sure that that money is getting put into assets that are going to increase in value and preserve our wealth, create our wealth, and also preserve our wealth. So me, I like real estate because real estate creates me more income in the form of cash flow. Real estate builds my wealth with appreciation, right? The property values go up every year. Real estate is going to also, the debt gets paid down by the tenant, so that builds my wealth too. And then I get tax benefits, right? So this is what I prefer to do. This is what I do with my business income. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life with my business income. And then at some point, I'll be able to pass these assets on to my kids, and they will be able to carry on the family legacy and the wealth. So those are my 3 steps to financial freedom and ultimately creating wealth. Like I said, it is simple, but not easy. It's very simple. It's very predictable. If you follow these things and you understand what I'm saying, especially step 1 and especially step 2, I promise you, you can be financially independent in a few years as well. Now, I will say, I was able to do this in 3 years because I have a very high risk tolerance. Again, your timeline is going to depend on your risk tolerance. Your timeline is going to depend on how hard you're actually willing to work, right? Your timeline is going to depend on a lot of things that, let's keep it 100, I'm not going to see. You're going to be doing behind closed doors. So you can only know yourself if you are being honest with yourself and if you are actually putting in work every day. Here's the thing, 9 to 5 will pay your bills. 6 to 2 a.m., that's going to buy you your freedom and ultimately build you wealth. If you're coming home and you're not putting in that work, that's on you. Results will show. Time will tell who's actually putting in that work. So do not expect the same results as me, because I was able to do this in 3 years. Don't expect that you can too if you're not willing to put in the same work as me and also take the same risks that I took. I lost $30,000 last year in businesses all over, and I'm not afraid of that. I would do it again. I would lose more. I would lose $100,000 if that's what it took. Because for me, I understand when you're young, you have time on your side. Time is the most important thing. If you have time, nothing else matters. I can lose $1 million and I'll be totally fine in a few years. I'll be fine today because I keep my expenses low. So it's very, very, very important to understand. Don't compare your results to mine. It may take you 5 years, it may take you 3 years, it may take you 10 years, right? All of those are much better than 40 years. Anyways, that is it for this video. I hope y'all gained something of value from it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm so that they know that this is a good video and there's a ton of value in here that other people need to see. Be sure to also check out our podcast, the Money Monopolizers podcast. We are putting out episodes every single week, which we are detailing our journey on how we achieve financial freedom, right? In 3 years and retired at the age of 25. Every single week, we're detailing our journey and telling you how we're going to get to level 2. And on top of that, we're interviewing multiple guests that have achieved financial freedom and are dropping so many gems. There's so many different business ideas. If you're still stuck on a business idea, go listen to the podcast. They will give you hundreds of ideas, because we've interviewed nearly 100 guests that have all brought different businesses that can show you how you can achieve financial freedom, because they all teach the information because they're real teachers. That's it for this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one.